Hi there, Loy Machedo speaking to you from loymachedo.com, and today I'm going to give the book review of iWoz by Steve Wozniak. Now, out of the many legacies that a person can leave behind would either be an invention, a book, or a revolution. Now, it is very rare to find a person that embodies all the three, and Steve Wozniak is definitely a personality. Now, his autobiography is titled iWoz, is a fairly honest, no-nonsense, in-your-face kind of a book whereby he states what he did for these last 55 years. All right, let's move on to what I liked about the book. Steve Wozniak, I felt, came out as very honest, sincere, and down-to-earth, very humble. Given the fact that he's so successful, he has enjoyed so much of fame and money, I thought he would, at least come across preaching to others, but he did not do that. He came across as a very down-to-earth guy. So that was the first thing that I really liked about the book. The second thing was he brought about a lot of his childhood into play, a lot of the bits before the Apple, because we tend to recognize Steve Wozniak as the Apple co-founder, and I was expecting it to be more on the Apple story, but no, he gave us parts of his childhood, the fact that he was a genius, he was a school prankster, the creator of the first dial-a-joke in the Bay Area, then also the loss-incurring, fan-appealing promoter of that he tried to become. Then also the philanthropist that he is, and the amount of work that he's doing towards today's youth, especially the people who are inventors. So I like that book, that part also, which came out pretty good. And finally, last but not least, the values and beliefs that he was sincere enough to share right at the end, that made you look at him in a different point of view. He is not one of those hardcore marketing types who wants to portray himself as the done-it-all and be-it-all. Rather, he wants to be remembered as someone who has really changed and touched life. So, yes, I love this bit. The parts of the book that I did not like, well, first and foremost was I felt this book would predominantly appeal to computer geeks and people who are hardcore about computers, because there was too much of technical information which I felt was maybe not necessary. The second part is the book is really, really badly edited. I mean, my gut feeling states that maybe Steve Wozniak wanted the book to be a reflection of who he was rather than what the reader would expect. So I felt certain areas of the book were absolutely long drawn, like the dial-a-joke, too much of information that was not required. And finally, last but not least, I would give it more like a Pete Sampras versus the Andre Agassi biography, whereby if you check Steve Jobs versus Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs gave us juicy bits, while Steve Wozniak tried to make it as honest as possible, which made it a little boring. So, having said that, if you balance the good versus the bad, I would say Steve Wozniak is without a doubt a legend. He is a person you must respect, and his book really gave you an insight into another area of his life that you never thought existed. So, even though I would give him the respect for that, I would still say as a reader, it did turn out to be slightly boring, and I wish he had focused more on the Apple era. But as a bonus, yes, I think this is something you should know. He does dispel a lot of myths and truths that he does dispel a lot of false rumors that we have been hearing over the period of time. So that would be a bonus why you should maybe want to buy this book. But do I recommend this book? I would say not actually, But for those of you who would like to know something more about a person who has made a difference to the lives of the entire generation and the future, I would say maybe you ought to buy the book. So I'd give it a 50-50, and I would end by giving the rating of 5 out of 10 for Steve Wozniak's book, iWoz. So, ladies and gentlemen, Loy Machedo from loymachedo.com. Thank you for watching.